Let's now go ahead and implement the exercises from the last video into this site. And this is my directory website, which I am building at the end of every training module. So the first thing we'll need to do is go ahead and install Media Library and also make sure Inline Entity Form is installed as well. So let's go to Extend and then search for Media. And you can see that Media is already installed, which is correct, but we need to install Media Library. So let's go ahead and do that. And while I'm here, let me just quickly search for Inline. Yep, you can see Inline Entity Form is there. Let's now go ahead and configure the Inline Entity Form widget on the logo field. So to do that, let's go to Structure, Content Types, and then click on Manage Form Display on the listing content type, and then scroll all the way down to the logo field. And you can see that the widget is currently autocomplete. Let's change it to Inline Entity Form Complex. And then click on the cogwheel to configure the widget, and then make sure users can only add new media items. They cannot select existing items, they can only add media items. And here you can see this option is already ticked. So just click on Update and then click on Save. And then now let's go ahead and add the Media Library button to the full HTML text format. This will allow editors to embed assets directly into the editor. So to do that, just go to Configuration and then click on Text Formats and Editors, and then make sure you configure the full HTML, not the basic HTML, the full HTML. So click on Configure, and then scroll down to the toolbar configuration, and then grab this button here all the way to the right, and then click, and then drag it into Media. Now, if you can't see this button, make sure you install the Media Library module, and then scroll down, and don't forget to switch on the Embed Media filter. And then simply scroll down and click on Save Configuration. And now let's go ahead and configure a few user permissions. So the first thing we'll do is we will add 3 user permissions to the contributor role. So click on People, and then click on Roles, and then click on the down arrow on the contributor role, and then click on Edit Permissions, and then scroll all the way down to the Media section, and then assign the contributor role Image Create New Media, and then Image Delete Own Media. Make sure you select Delete Own Media, not Delete Any. We only want to allow contributors to delete their own and edit their own images. And then scroll down to Image Edit Own Media, and then make sure that is checked. So let's just double check we have given the correct permissions. The first one is Image Create New Media, check. And the next one is Image Delete Own Media, check. And then Image Edit Own Media, perfect. Okay, let's just scroll down and click on Save Permissions. Okay, let's go back to People and then Roles. And let's now configure the permissions on the editor role. So again, click on the down arrow and then click on Edit Permissions on the editor row. And then find the media section again. But this time, give the editor role Create Media, Delete Any Media, and also Update Any Media. The editor role is a higher privileged role than the contributor. Normally, a user with the editor role will be managing content like blog posts and also images. So we'll give them the ability to delete any media and also update any media. And finally, give them the Access Media Overview permission up here. And so scroll down and then click on Save Permissions. Okay, let's now test everything out and make sure the permissions are correct. So what I'll do is I will resize this browser to the left and then use this browser on the right to first log in as a contributor. And I do know that there is a user account with the username of contributor1, and I'll enter in the password. And then if I go to my listings, I can see all of my available listings. And then if I click on create listings, I should see a different widget. Perfect, okay. Previously, it was just the autocomplete widget. Now, if I click on add new media item, I can enter in a name for the media and then also upload an image. So let's just test this out. So test company. Let me just put in test company 2 because I've probably already got a test company listing. And then I will enter in a name for this media asset. And then I'll just grab one of my test images to make sure everything is working. Test image 1. And then if I click on create media item, you can see it has been saved. I can also go ahead and edit the image. And then if I click on remove, it'll delete it. And let me just select a few options here and click on save. Okay, so here we can see the logo has been uploaded. Perfect. And then if I go back to my account, my listings, I can then see the logo here. Perfect. Okay. The contributor role has been configured and everything is working. Now what we need to do is test out the editor role. So let me just log out and then click on login, and then I'll log in with an editor account. And then if I go to my listings, I can see all of that. Because I am an editor, I should be able to go to /node/add, and I can see all of the content types which I have access to. And then if I click on blog, I can just enter in a test blog post, enter in a bunch of dummy text. But then the most important thing is if I switch it to full HTML, and then if I click on the media library link, we can see all of the media assets. And then if I was to select, say, one of these images, I can simply embed them in and then scroll all the way down and click on save. And the final thing we need to do is change this featured image widget to use the media library widget. Now, on the blog content type, we are going to use the media library, whereas on the listing content type, we are going to use inline entity form. Now, the reason for that is because we don't want to allow contributors to be able to select any image uploaded into the site. However, editors on the site will be in charge of managing content. So that can be blog posts or even listings, because they do have a higher privileged role. So I'm more than comfortable in using the media library widget on this featured image field. Let's make this browser full screen, and then let's go to structure, content types, and then on the blog row, click on the down arrow and then click on manage form display, and then find the featured image. And then from the drop down, select media library. Now, if you can't see media library, make sure you've installed the media library module. And then just simply click on save. And then if we go back to our other browser, and let's just make that full screen and then refresh. So now if we click on add media, we can go ahead and select a featured image. So what I'll do is I will select the Apple logo as the featured image. And then if I save, the Apple logo should be right up the top. And then you have the rest of the content and the embedded image.